You're not simply what you eat, you're what you can break down, absorb, and actually use. And a huge part of that job belongs to your gut and the trillions of microbes living inside it. A lot of people assume the brain runs the whole show, but if you zoom out, the gut looks a lot like a second command center. It influences digestion, immune activity, hormone signaling, and even how steady your mood feels from day to day. And here's the scary part. While many of us are trying hard to eat healthy, we can still unknowingly damage that delicate inner ecosystem with everyday food choices. Hello, health champions. Today we're talking about why gut health matters so much, and the 10 worst food categories that can disrupt your gut lining and microbiome over time. Quick note, this is for education, not medical advice. If you have chronic symptoms, diagnosed conditions, or you're on medication, it's always smart to check in with a qualified clinician. Alright, here's the countdown in no particular order. Number 10 is processed meats. We're talking hot dogs, bacon, sausages, deli meats, anything heavily preserved or cured. One major concern is that many processed meats contain nitrites or nitrates used for preservation and color. Under certain conditions, especially high heat cooking, these compounds can contribute to the formation of nitrosamines, which are undesirable byproducts that researchers have looked at in relation to long-term health risks. And it's not just about the ingredients, it's also about how you cook them. When meats are grilled, charred, deep-fried, or cooked until crispy at very high temperatures, they can form additional compounds like heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, things that can be irritating to tissues, including the gut lining. So what's the practical takeaway? If you choose to eat processed meats, keep it occasional, choose higher quality options with simpler ingredient lists, and avoid ultra-high heat cooking. Cook gentler, don't burn or char, and pair them with a meal that includes fiber-rich plants, because those plant compounds help support a healthier microbiome overall. Now, before we go on, we need to understand what the gut actually does. Yes, your gut breaks food down and absorbs nutrients, but it's also home to a massive microbial community that helps you extract value from foods you can't fully digest on your own, especially certain fibers and resistant starches. Those microbes produce beneficial compounds that help support the gut barrier and keep inflammation calmer. And then there's your immune system. A large portion of immune activity is closely linked with the gut. The digestive tract is basically a long interface between the outside world and the inside of your body, so everything you swallow has to be assessed and handled properly. When the gut barrier is strong, the immune system stays calm, efficient, and balanced. When that barrier is stressed and microbes or fragments get too close, the immune system can become reactive. And mood. The gut-brain connection is real. Your nervous system and your gut are in constant communication through nerve pathways, immune signals, and microbial byproducts. When your microbiome is healthier and more diverse, many people notice steadier digestion, energy, and emotional resilience. When things slide into imbalance, what people often call dysbiosis, that's when symptoms like bloating, irregular bowel movements, food sensitivities, brain fog, and mood swings can show up more often. Food number 9 that can harm your gut is low-quality dairy products, especially ultra-processed, low-fat, sweetened options. Dairy is complicated. Some people tolerate it well, others don't, because of lactose intolerance, sensitivities to milk proteins, or reactions to additives in modern dairy products. What often causes gut trouble is low-fat, sweetened, flavored dairy. Think fat-free yogurts loaded with sugar, dessert-style yogurts, processed cheeses, and dairy drinks with stabilizers and gums. Low-fat can be worse for some people because manufacturers remove fat and then add back thickeners, sweeteners, and fillers to recreate texture and taste, meaning more additives and often more sugar, two things your gut may not love. If dairy doesn't agree with you, a more gut-friendly approach is usually strategic. Choose plain, unsweetened options. Consider fermented dairy like kefir or live culture yogurt if you tolerate it. Try lactose-free versions if lactose is the issue. And if you avoid dairy entirely, replace it with nutrient-dense alternatives, not sugar-loaded substitutes. Food number 8 is healthy, processed foods that wear a halo. This one is sneaky because it makes people feel like they're doing everything right while their gut quietly pays the price. I'm talking about granola bars marketed as natural but packed with added sugars, protein bars with long ingredient lists, plant-based plant-based milks with stabilizers and added oils, and even gluten-free treats that are still basically refined starch and sugar. The problem isn't that every convenience food is evil, it's that these products often combine the gut's biggest irritants in one place: added sugar, refined starch, industrial oils, and additives. Marketing doesn't help either. Plant-based, low-fat, high-protein, keto-friendly, natural, none of those labels automatically mean gut-friendly. Your gut cares more about what's actually inside: ingredient quality, fiber content, additives, and how processed it is. Number 7 is emulsifiers, stabilizers, and certain additives. These are the sciencey ingredients on labels, things used to improve texture and shelf life. They help oil and water mix and keep products creamy, but your gut lining is protected by a mucus layer that acts like a buffer, and some research suggests certain additives may disrupt that protective layer or shift microbial balance in some people, especially when consumed frequently as part of a highly processed diet. Dose matters and tolerance varies, but the pattern many people notice is that digestion improves when they reduce packaged foods that contain multiple gums, emulsifiers, and stabilizers. Number 6 is alcohol. Alcohol can irritate the gut lining directly, weaken barrier function over time, alter the microbiome, and raise inflammation, especially when combined with poor sleep and high-sugar foods. And once again, the gut-brain link shows up. When the gut barrier is stressed, inflammatory signals can rise, and many people feel that as low mood, anxiety, brain fog, or that wired but tired feeling. If you drink, aim for moderation, hydrate, don't drink on an empty stomach, and give your gut recovery days. Number 5 is gluten-containing grains, especially if you're sensitive. For people with celiac disease, gluten triggers immune damage in the small intestine and must be strictly avoided. For others, gluten may be tolerated fine, but for a noticeable group of people, gluten-containing foods, especially ultra-refined wheat products, are linked with symptoms like bloating, discomfort, stool changes, fatigue, or skin flare-ups. Sometimes it's gluten itself, and sometimes it's the broader package: refined flour, low fiber, additives, and highly processed baking. What matters most for gut health isn't just gluten or no gluten, it's whether your diet is built on refined flour products or whole, fiber-rich foods. If you suspect sensitivity, a structured elimination and reintroduction can help you learn what your body tolerates without falling into fear-based eating. Number 4 is artificial sweeteners. These are common in diet sodas, zero-sugar candies, protein drinks, and sugar-free snacks. The concern is that some non-nutritive sweeteners may shift gut bacteria in certain people, increase cravings, and trigger GI symptoms like bloating or diarrhea. Not everyone reacts the same way, but if your gut is already struggling and you're consuming zero-sugar products daily, try removing them for a couple of weeks and watch what changes. Now, a quick detour. Gut health starts early. Birth, early feeding, childhood diet, stress, sleep, antibiotic exposure, these all influence microbial diversity. Antibiotics can be life-saving, but repeated courses can reduce diversity and allow more opportunistic species to dominate. Add a highly processed modern diet, chronic stress, and poor sleep, and it's easy to see why so many people feel like their digestion is fragile. The goal isn't paranoia, it's resilience. More whole foods, more fiber variety, fewer ultra-processed hits, and better recovery habits. Number 3 is industrial seed oils in ultra-processed foods, especially when repeatedly heated. When oils are heavily refined and then used repeatedly in high-heat cooking like commercial frying, oxidation byproducts can increase, which can be irritating, especially when the diet is already low in antioxidants and fiber. But the bigger issue is that these oils are often a marker for a diet high in fried foods, packaged snacks, fast food, refined flour, and added sugar. A gut-friendly approach is to emphasize whole food fats more often: olive oil, avocado, nuts, seeds, and omega-3 rich foods, while reducing heavily fried and ultra-processed items. Number 2 is fried foods. Fried foods combine multiple gut stressors at once: very high heat, often repeatedly heated oils, refined coatings, and low fiber density. They're easy to overeat, and they displace the foods your gut microbes thrive on: vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. If you want the crisp factor without the gut punishment, try baking, air frying with minimal oil, or pan cooking at lower temperatures, and balance the meal with fiber. And food number 1 is added sugar and refined carbohydrates. This is the big one, not necessarily because it's the most toxic, but because it's the most common. Highly refined carbs and added sugars are everywhere: bread, pastries, cereal, sauces, sauces, coffee drinks, snacks, sweetened yogurts, and packaged meals. When you eat a lot of refined carbs and sugar, you feed microbes that thrive on easy fuel, you reduce microbial diversity because fiber variety drops, you increase blood sugar swings that raise inflammation, and you often see more cravings, fatigue, and digestive instability. This doesn't mean never eat sugar again. It means stop letting sugar and refined starch be the foundation of your diet. If your gut could vote, it would vote for more whole plants and fiber variety, more fermented foods if tolerated, more protein and healthy fats for stable blood sugar, and fewer ultra-processed snacks that combine sugar, refined starch, and additives. So there you have it, the 10 food categories that can quietly sabotage your gut, often without you realizing it. Gut health isn't built with one superfood. It's built through consistent patterns. Protect the lining, feed the good microbes, reduce the daily irritants, and give your system time to recover. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next one. And if you truly want to master health by understanding how the body actually works, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, and turn on notifications so you never miss a gut-saving, life-improving video.